Hey guys, I hope you are having an awesome day. I miss you all so much and I hope you're doing great. I just wanted to come on here and make a quick video to go over a couple of things with you guys. So yesterday I sent home a schedule to you for both reading and math. Miss McLaughlin and I have worked on the schedule and we've been trying to figure out the best way to keep you on track, and we feel like this is a good way. So hopefully if you're not caught up with that, you can use this time to catch up to what that schedule says you should be at this point. And so from here on out, we're going to start sending home that schedule on Mondays. And along with that schedule, I'm going to start sending home a video going over the types of problems that you'll see each week for your packet. So this week you were supposed to solve pages 9 through 13. And I'm just going to go over a couple of problems from each one of those pages. That way you'll have a refresher on how to solve those problems. And hopefully that'll be a little bit easier than me trying to help you just through the phone like I've been doing. That way you can actually see what's going on and see how I'm solving the problem. So as always, if you ever need anything at all, you just give me a call, send me a text message, and let me know what's going on, and I'll be happy to help you in whatever way I possibly can. So the first problem set that you should come to for this week is page 9, and it's on rounding decimals. Now this is something that we did at the very beginning of the school year, so hopefully you remember that. If not, maybe after seeing this video, it'll give you a little refresher on it, and hopefully you'll remember that. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and hopefully you'll be able to see it all right. All right, so page 9 has several different types of problems, so we'll go over 3 of the problems that you will see. Get my pen ready. Okay, so number 1 is, you would read this, 32 hundredths. So in order to round decimal places, you have to know your places. So here is the ones place before the decimal, then we have the decimal point, then we have the tenths and the hundredths. So number 1 says to round each decimal to the nearest 10th place. So in order to round your decimals, what you're going to do is you're going to underline the place that it tells you to round to. So in this case, it's asking us to round to the nearest 10th place. So I'm going to underline the digit in the 10th place and then look at the very next place. Now hopefully you remember how to do this, because it's the same rounding with whole numbers or rounding with decimals. You do the same process. So we have 3, and the place to the very right of that is a 2. Now if it is 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, this 3 is going to stay the same. If the place to the right of your target digit is a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, then this will round up. So because this is a 2, that 3 is going to stay the same. So everything before the 3 is going to stay the same, and everything after the 3 will just be dropped off. So when I round 32 hundredths to the nearest tenths, my answer ends up being 3/10. Okay, the next one, number 7, I have 1 and 79 thousandths. So I have, this is my whole number. I have 1 whole, my decimal point. Remember, when you see a decimal, you say the word and. Then I have my tenths, my hundredths, then my thousandth place. Now this one wants us to round the decimal to the nearest hundredth. So in order to round this to the nearest hundredth, I'm going to underline the digit that's in the hundredths place. And then I'm going to look at the very next place. That 9 is going to change my 7 to an 8. So I'm going to add 1 more to that 7, and it becomes an 8. Drop off the 9. Everything that comes before the 8 is going to stay the same. So I have 1 and 8 hundredths as my answer here. Then I have number 13, 1 47/100ths. It wants us to round this decimal to the nearest whole number. So remember, your whole number is everything that comes before the decimal place. So I'm going to underline that 1 because it's what comes before the decimal place. And I'm going to round it to the nearest whole number. So again, I'm going to underline my target digit and look at the digit right next to it. And that 4 is not going to change the 1. If it's 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, that 1 is going to stay the same. So this rounded to the nearest whole number is just 1 whole. All right. Let y'all look at that page for a second. All right, and then the next one is page 10, multiplying multi-digit whole numbers. Now this one does not give you a specific way that you need to solve the problem, so you can solve it using the strategy that you would like to solve it. We've used area model, we've used the partial product method, and we've used the standard algorithm. So whatever you're most comfortable with, it's okay for this page. So the first one, number 1, we have 132 times 34. I'm going to show you 2 different strategies to solve this just because it doesn't tell you a specific one to solve it. So we'll do number 1 using the area model. I think most of you really like using that strategy to solve your multiplication problem. So we'll solve this one using using the area model. And then number 5, we'll solve using the standard algorithm. So number 1, I have 132 times 34. When I'm using the area model to solve this, I have to decompose both numbers. That word decompose means we're going to break it apart. So to break 132 apart, I'm going to break it apart in the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. So I have 100, 30, and 2. And then I'm going to break apart that 34 in the tens and the ones. Now remember, your area model needs to represent the area that it's showing. So this 100 is going to represent a whole lot larger area than the 30 and the 2. Same with 30 and 4. So in this first area, I'm going to multiply 30 times 100. 30 times 1 is 30, and there are 2 more zeros. So 30 times 100 is going to be 3,000. 30 times 3, well, I know that 3 times 3 is 9, and I see 2 zeros. So 30 times 30 is going to be 900. Then I have 30 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6, and there's 1 0 over there. Now I have 4 times 100. 4 times 100 is 400. 4 times 3 is 12, so 4 times 30 is going to be 120. Then I have 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So now I need to add together. Remember, these are called my partial products because they're part of the total product to this problem. So I have 3,000 plus 900 plus 60. I can do that in my head. I have 3,960. And then 400 plus 120 plus 8. Well, 400 plus 120, that's going to be 520. Plus 8 more would be 528. Add those together. 0 plus 8 is 8. 6 plus 2 is 8. 9 plus 5 is 14. And then 3 plus 1 is 4. So my answer to number 1 is 4,488. Now number 5. We're going to solve this one using the standard algorithm. So when we're solving using the standard algorithm, we start in this corner and we multiply all of the top number by this 1. So I'm going to multiply 158 times 1. So I'll start right here. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 5 is 5. And 1 times 1 is 1. Now, because I'm moving over one place to multiply 158 times 4, I'm actually multiplying it times 40 because this 4 it's in the tens place, so it's representing 40. So I'm going to move over one place. I'm going to put my 0 there because I'm moving places. And so I'm going to multiply 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. Then I'm going to multiply 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 3 more is 23. And then 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 more is 6. So I have 158 plus 6,320. Add those together. 8 plus 0 is 8. 5 plus 2 is 7. 1 plus 3 is 4. And then I have my 6,000. So my answer here is 6,478. Okay. Now we'll move on to page 11. Now page 11, it doesn't give you options. It says just to solve this using the standard algorithm. So we'll practice those. And on this page, I believe it gives you answer choices. Let's see. Yes, it does. So it gives you choices at the bottom of the page. So if you end up getting an answer and it's not on the bottom of the page, then you might want to rework that problem because all the choices are at the bottom. So again, we're going to solve this using the standard algorithm. Start in this corner. 4 times 7. 4 times 7 is 28. Write down my 8. I'm going to regroup that 2. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 more is 6. 4 times 4 is 16. Write down my 6. Regroup that 1. And then 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 more is 9. Okay, a very important step is to mark out these numbers that you regroup so they don't confuse us when we're multiplying this by 2. So I'm going to put my 0 placeholder there because I'm moving over one place. Now I'm going to multiply 2 times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Write down your 4, regroup your 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 more is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Add together your partial products. So your answer here is 58,008. 58,008. Okay, now we have 650 times 35. I'm going to rewrite that one over here so these numbers don't confuse me. So I have 650 times 35. 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm going to write down my 5 and regroup the 2. 6 times 5 is 30 plus 2 more, 32. Now I'm moving over one place. I need to mark out the numbers that I carried so they don't confuse me later on. So I'm going to put in my 0 placeholder because I'm moving over one place. Then I have 3 times 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. And then 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 more is 19. Add those together. 2 plus 5 is 7. 3 plus 9 is 12. Then 1 plus 1 is 2. So your answer to this one is 22,750. 22,750. Okay, so that's page 11. We'll have page 12. Okay, so this one, it says to check each answer by multiplying the divisor by the quotient. If the answer is incorrect, cross out the answer and write the correct answer. So we'll go over 2 of these types of problems. So it gives you the answer on this problem, but they're not all correct. So what you are having to do is check that person's answers. So it wants you to multiply the quotient by the divisor. So on this one, I have 837 divided by 31 equals 27. So this person said that this answer is 27. We're going to check them by multiplying. Remember that multiplication and division work hand in hand. We can check those by doing the opposite operation. So the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So I'm going to check these problems by multiplying them. So I'm going to multiply 27 times 31. And if the answer equals 837, then I had the correct answer. So 27 times 31. And this will be good practice for you to practice your standard algorithm with double digits. So I have 1 times 7. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. Going to put my 0 placeholder there and move over to the 3. I have 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. Write down my 1. Regroup the 2. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 more is 8. So here I have 27 plus 810. Need to add those together. 7 plus 0 is 7. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then I have my 8. So my answer here is 837, and it matches that 837, so this student was correct. Now let's look at this one. 351 divided by 13 equals 57. So we will multiply this. Multiply the quotient by the divisor. So I have 57 times 13. 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm going to write down my 1. Regroup the 2. Then I have 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 more is 17. I'm moving over to this next place. So I need to mark out that 2 so it doesn't confuse me. And I need to write in the 0 placeholder. So now I'm going to multiply 1 times 7. 1 times 7 is 7. And then 1 times 5 is 5. So I have 171 plus 570. 1 plus 0 is 1. 7 plus 7 is 14. 5 plus 1 plus 1 is 7. So this equals 741, which is not what my dividend was. So this student was not correct. This is not the correct answer. So because they're not correct, I have to go through and find the correct answer. So we are going to find this by dividing. So I have 351 divided by 13. Remember, we are going to do the big 7 method and create our menu for dividing. I'll start with my easy breezy facts. I know that 13 times 1 is 13. 13 times 2, 26. I'm going to go ahead and make this 13 times 20 because I think that's going to get me close to 351. 260. And remember, you can add whatever you want to your menu. We're trying to take as many chunks out of this dividend as we possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to multiply 13 times 20, and that's 260, and subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. 5 minus 6, can't do that, so I'm going to have to move over to that hundreds place, take 1 away from the 3. That 3 becomes a 2. Bring 10 over, so add that to the 5. 5 plus 10 is 15, so I have 15 minus 6, which is 9. So now I have 91 that I need to pull out. So right now I only have 3 things on my menu. These 2 would work, but I could put something else on my menu. Maybe I could put 13 times 4. I could double that 26. So 26 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. So I have 52. That's going to take out a larger chunk. So 13 times 4, 52. So I'm going to write that down. 13 times 4 is 52. So subtract that from the 9. Going to have to go over here and borrow. So now I have 11 minus 2. 11 minus 2 is 9. Now 8 minus 5 is 3. So now I have 39. So looking at this, I could take out 26, or I could try to get even closer to this 39. So I know that 13 times 2 is 26. I could add 13 more to that 36 and get something closer. So I could do 13 times 3. 26 plus 13 more, 3 plus 6 is 9, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So that gives me exactly 39. So I'll write down my 3, subtract the 39. I don't have anything left over. So now I have 20 plus 4 plus 3, and that is 27. So the correct answer for this one was 27. Alright, and we have one more page. This is using area models and partial quotients to divide. And we'll just go over 3 of these. So on these, we're going to need to create our menu. So number 1 is 540 divided by 12. I'll create my menu over here. Remember our easy breezy facts, 1s, 2s, 5s, and 10s. So 12 times 1, that's 12, we know that. And from that, I can get 12 times 10, 12 times 100, 12 times 1,000 just by putting zeros at the end. So I'll go ahead and do 12 times 10. That's 120. Then 12 times 2, I know that 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 20 equals 240. I can double this. We know about doubling. So double 2 is 4. So why don't we put 12 times 4? 12 times 4, if I doubled this number that I multiply by, I can also double my product. So double of 24 is 48. And so 12 times 40 would be 480. That's going to get me pretty close to this number. So let's go ahead and take 480 out of my dividend. So I'm going to multiply 12 times 40. 12 times 40 is 480. Subtract. Uh-oh. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so I have 0 minus 0 is 0. And so I have 4 minus 8. Well, if I have 4, I can't take 8 away. So I'm going to have to go over here and take 1 from the 5. That 5 becomes a 4, and the 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 8 is 6. So I have 60 left. Now, does 12 times anything give me 60? 12 is one of those that you should know the facts. So you should know your facts of 12. Hopefully you've been using some of this time to work on your multiplication facts. So I know that 12 times 5 is 60. And I don't have anything left over. So once I get to this point, I'm going to add together my partial quotients. So I have 40 plus 5. 40 plus 5 is 45. That's my answer to this problem. Okay, then we have number 5. We have 925 divided by 25. Create our menu. So we have 25 times 1. That's 25. 25 times 2 is 50. I like to think of 25s like quarters. Makes it a little bit easier. 25 times 3, 75. 25 times 4, 100. And again, this is your menu. You put whatever you would like to put on your menu. I always like to start with the easy breezy facts. 1, 2s, you can add 5s. And 10 is really good to put on there as well. Now I'm just going to look at what I have on my menu and see if I can get pretty close. 75 is not going to get me extremely close to 925, but if I did 25 times 30, that would give me 750, and that's going to get me pretty close. So that's going to take out a large chunk. So I'm going to multiply 25 times 30. That's 750. Subtract 5 minus 0 is 5. That 9 becomes an 8. 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. And then I have 8 minus 7, which is 1. So now I have 175. Well, I see that 25 times 4 is 100, and 25 times 3 is 75. So could I add those two together and then add these two together? And multiply 25 times 7. 25 times 7, because I've added 3 and 4 together and added my products together, would give me 175. Subtract. There's nothing left, so I'm going to add together my partial quotients. 30 plus 7 equals 37. So the answer here is 37. Now number 11 is a little bit different because I don't know my 89s extremely well. That's not a fact that I ever had to learn. So when I'm creating my menu for this, it's very, very important that I use my easy breezy facts just because I don't know my 89. So that's going to give me a great starting point. And I'm actually going to do this on another piece of paper because I'm running out of room. Let me grab one more piece of paper. Okay, so I have 1,869 divided by 89. So I'll write my menu. Big 7. So we'll start with 89 times 1. That's 89. 89. I like to add zeros to these. At times 10 is 890. Can double 89. So do 89 times 2. And you can do this either by multiplying that, or you can say 89 plus 89. I'm going to do this over on this page. Equals 178. If I did 89 times 20, it would be 1,780. Now I'm getting pretty close to that dividend, 1,869. I'll go ahead and do 89 times 5. And then we can start dividing. So 89 times 5. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 4 more is 44. So it's going to be 445. Okay, so this one right here is going to get me the closest. 89 times 20. 89 times 20 is 1,780. I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 8 is 9. I have 6, I can't take 8 away. So I'm going to have to go over here and take 1 away from the 8. And then add 10 to that 6. So 6 plus 10 is 16. I have 16 minus 8, which is 8. 7 minus 7 is 0. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have 89 left over. Now, does 89 times anything give us 89? Well, that's a pretty easy one. 89 times 1 is 89. So I can subtract, and I don't have anything left over, so I'm going to add together my partial quotients. 20 plus 1 is 21. So when you have a good menu, it makes it a lot easier to divide this out. So I want you to keep that in mind as you solve these problems. So I hope this has helped you. This is just the first 5 pages for this week. So I'll send home another video next week. Hopefully that'll help you out. I hope y'all have a wonderful day.